In a quiet pocket between dusk and dawn, when the world's pulse softens and silence grows profound, we grant ourselves permission to rest, not as escape, but as return. Welcome, dear companion, to Guide to Reads, where each night holds the promise of renewal, and every episode invites a journey deeper into wisdom. Tonight I invite you to pause with me, just for a breath, beneath the velvet sky. Imagine a silent garden fading at dusk, flowers gently closing, leaves bowing to twilight's cool embrace. And yet, within roots unseen, a quiet magic stirs. Renewal begins not with the morning sun, but in the restful hush of night. Such is the truth at the heart of tonight's book, Sleep Smarter, by Shawn Stevenson. Once haunted by chronic pain and exhaustion, Stevenson faced the ordinary despair of sleeplessness, until he turned away from mere routine and sought the hidden power of sleep itself. This was no simple quest for comfort, but a transformation. He realized that sleep is not a passive void, but a silent architect, restoring our bodies, sharpening our minds, nourishing every hopeful morning. Let me ask you softly, when was the last time you honored sleep, not as an afterthought to fatigue, but as an act of self-respect and renewal? In the rush of ambition and screens, have you felt the slow fading of focus, the weight of tiredness that dims life's color? Tonight's journey is not a list of commands, nor a prescription to perfect rest. It is a gentle invitation to rediscover what we once knew as children, that sleep is the quiet alchemy of growth, memory, healing. Sleep Smarter offers science and strategy, yes, but more, it is a philosophy of care, an invitation to reclaim your inner energy, clarity, and presence with each night. Here at Guide to Reads, wisdom finds us in reflection, in story, and in simple acts of compassion, toward ourselves first. So let us walk tonight among Stevenson's lessons, beneath the tranquil stars, and consider together, how might the way we sleep transform not just our health, but our hope and every dawn to come? Once the forgotten foundation, why sleep matters. In the modern world, we measure our lives in waking hours, clocks and calendars spinning relentlessly forward. Productivity is king, and to rest is too often seen as surrender. But Shawn Stevenson invites us to pause, to consider that sleep, far from weakness, is the very foundation upon which strength is built. Stevenson's journey began with pain, a body worn and weary, days shadowed by fatigue. The world offered him pills and platitudes, but neither healed what a quiet, exhausted spirit most needed. Through research and reflection, Stevenson found what science echoes in whispers and shouts: that sleep is more powerful than any supplement, more transformative than any routine. It is the master reset, the invisible hand repairing, building, and illuminating all our other efforts. The facts startle us. A single night of poor sleep disrupts hormones, dulls memory, raises stress, and even weakens our immune system. Over time, chronic sleep deprivation clouds the mind, ages the body, dims the spark of creativity, and erodes happiness from within. Stevenson describes sleep as the overlooked keystone, a pillar without which no structure of health, productivity, or joy can truly stand. But knowledge is nothing if not lived. Stevenson's message goes beyond biology. He reflects on the way our culture romanticizes busyness and dismisses rest as laziness, forgetting that great thinkers, artists, and athletes credit deep sleep for their creative leaps and steadfast resilience. Sleep is not passivity, but preparation, a quiet force turning dreams into daylight achievement. Let us look into our own lives. How often have you tried to power through the fog, relying on coffee or willpower, when all your body truly asked for was rest? When did you last feel genuinely restored, mind sharp, heart light? Sleep is not just a pause between routines. It is the active, vital space where healing, memory, and inspiration bloom. In the hush of each night lies the chance to begin anew. Sleep is nature's gentle teacher, reminding us that all growth, physical, mental, and emotional, requires surrender before strength. To sleep is not to abandon ambition, but to honor it with the power it demands. 2. Crafting rest, the rituals and environment of sleep. Just as a garden thrives when tended by intentional hands, so too does sleep flourish when nurtured with care. Stevenson's wisdom unravels here. True rest is not granted through mere exhaustion, but built deliberately, night after night, by rituals and the world we create around our sleeping hours. The evening ritual, signaling the mind and body. Stevenson suggests that sleep begins before our eyelids close. It starts with the signals we send ourselves as daylight wanes. Simple acts become gentle music for the mind, dimming the lights, turning down screens, inviting silence. Each conscious step toward rest is a promise, a message to our brain that the day's struggles can at last be set aside. Consider the act of winding down, a favorite book in soft light, a warm shower, a slow stretch, or the whisper of gratitude for the day's moments. Just as athletes prepare for performance, Stevenson tells us, so must we treat sleep as sacred, worthy of ritual, anticipation, and respect. The sleep sanctuary, creating space for renewal. Stevenson's second call is to honor where we sleep. The bedroom, he teaches, should be a sanctuary set apart from the world's rush, a haven of stillness. Cool temperature, darkness, and quiet are its pillars. Removing digital distractions and clutter transforms the room into a protective cocoon, inviting peace to settle over our restless thoughts. He draws upon both scientific research and ancient tradition, reminding us that our environment shapes our biology. Darkness triggers melatonin, the gentle steward of sleep. Silence soothes the nervous system. Clean air and gentle scents nurture relaxation and healing. This is a return to wisdom once known in every culture, that the space in which we rest shapes the restoration we receive. Nutrition and movement, preparing the body for rest. But sleep is not only shaped by what we do at night, it is sown throughout our day. Stevenson illuminates the role of sunlight. Exposing ourselves to daylight, especially in the morning, calibrates our internal clock. Movement, too, plays its part. Regular exercise, not too close to bedtime, invites deeper, more restorative sleep. Even what we eat and drink, caffeine, alcohol, heavy meals, can be either foes or allies in our search for rest. Stevenson invites us to listen to our body's rhythms, to treat nourishment and movement as acts of foresight, paving the way for the healing hours to come. In the tending of each ritual, each corner of our sanctuary, each mindful step through the day, we craft the art of sleep, not as luxury, but necessity. Stevenson reveals that rest is actively chosen, prepared, and received with gratitude. To honor sleep is to honor life itself, the renewal of body, spirit, and hope. 3. Shadows at dawn, the hidden price of sleeplessness. There is a quiet toll exacted by restless nights, a cost paid not in coins but in moments missed, vitality dulled, and dreams forgotten. Stevenson pulls back the curtain to reveal that poor sleep is not merely discomfort, but a slow erosion of what makes us most alive. Consider the landscape of sleeplessness. The mind grows cloudy, sharp edges softened and memory blurred. Decisions wobble, tempers flare. The body, deprived of its sacred healing hours, turns fragile, immune defenses weakened, appetite confused, energy drained and scattered. Science paints these symptoms vividly. Chronic lack of sleep raises the risk of heart disease, diabetes, weight gain, anxiety, and depression. Even the joy of living can dim invisible beneath fatigue's heavy shroud. Yet, the effects are not measured only in studies and statistics. Stevenson's own story echoes through halls of real life. The parent losing patience for laughter, the student whose creativity stutters, the partner slow to love, fatigued and absent. In small daily ways, sleep deprivation robs us not just of health, but of our best selves, the unique spark we wish to bring the world. But Stevenson does not leave us stranded in shadow. He shows, time and again, how restoration is possible. One night of true, uninterrupted sleep begins to mend the fabric. Mood lifts, concentration sharpens, the body quietly repairs, dreams return vivid and purposeful. Pause for a moment and ask, have you underestimated the price poor sleep exacts in your days? How the subtle fog creeps in, distorting joy, productivity, connection. Think gently, in honoring sleep you reclaim not just energy, but the bright clarity with which you once approached morning. We are not made for endless striving, but for cycles, exertion and renewal, activity and graceful surrender. Stevenson teaches that by giving rest its rightful place, we invite every aspect of our being to flourish. To restore sleep is to restore possibility, focus, vitality, and most deeply, the ability to show up in each moment fully awake. 4. The 3 pillars. Habits for lifelong renewal. If sleep is our body's unspoken promise of healing, how can we make that promise last across every season of life? Shawn Stevenson distills his greatest wisdom into 3 essential habits, pillars that hold the architecture of deep restorative sleep aloft. Pillar 1. Sunlight and rhythm, awakening your natural clock. Stevenson's first pillar stands at the break of day. He urges us to greet the morning with sun upon our skin, even for a few quiet minutes. This light signals our biology, resetting the intricate clock within, the circadian rhythm that governs sleep, energy, and mood. When the day begins with brightness, the night unfolds more willingly into rest. Those who welcome sunlight not only kindle alertness, but also prime their bodies for healthy melatonin as dusk falls. As if it were a gentle conductor, sunlight leads the orchestra of hormones, focus, and inner harmony. Consider your mornings, a brief walk outdoors, an open window, the pause to honor the rising light. In that simplest ritual, future nights are shaped. Pillar 2. Movement and stillness, the dance of wakefulness and surrender. Throughout our waking hours, movement breathes vitality into every cell. Stevenson reveals that regular exercise, whether brisk or gentle, improves sleep quality, deepens the cycle of restful stages, and can even soften the grip of stress and anxiety. Yet there is a subtle wisdom: to balance exertion with calm. Vigorous activity is best completed far from bedtime, allowing the body to return to tranquility as night approaches. Evening winds down with restorative practices, yoga, stretching, or the quiet embrace of meditation. Movement is an offering to sleep. Stillness is sleep's gentle invitation. Pillar 3. Sleep rituals, creating sacred transitions. The final pillar is the deliberate practice of evening ritual. Stevenson reminds us that sleep is not a switch, but a gentle transition, a winding path that begins well before we close our eyes. Create a sequence for yourself: soft lighting, a warm shower, soothing sounds, screen darkness, gratitude for the day's gifts. Each action signals the mind and body to slow. When ritual is repeated, the brain recognizes rest as sacred. Stress recedes, and sleep descends with ease. Like a child rocked by lullabies and calm, we too require the language of repetition and comfort, carried across the threshold by habits that honor body and spirit. Stevenson's pillars are keys, simple and profound. They teach us that restful sleep is not found in chance, but in slow, thoughtful cultivation. A garden grown with attention, renewal harvested by day and by ritual. Through sunlight, movement, and sacred transition, we reclaim our nights as a source of strength and promise. We have journeyed together across moonlit gardens and sunlit mornings, uncovering the deep promise hidden in every night's rest. Shawn Stevenson's message is simple, yet profound. Sleep is not an afterthought, but the silent core from which all vitality and dreaming emerge. We have seen how neglected sleep casts long shadows across our health, focus, and joy. But we have also learned that renewal waits close, within reach. Through deliberate rituals, attention to our daily rhythms, the embrace of movement, and the creation of sacred space, each evening becomes an invitation to heal, to be restored, to return to our best selves. Pause now, dear listener, and ask, what is one thing you can honor tonight? A ritual to begin, a distraction to release, a moment of sunlight to claim in the morning. Let sleep be your ally, not your escape, but your quiet miracle. If the wisdom of this episode sparked a glimmer in your life, share it softly with those you love and let it ripple through many evenings to come. Stay with us, fellow traveler, as we continue seeking deeper rest, higher understanding, and the ever-renewing light of wisdom. In every book there is wisdom, in every wisdom there is a flash, and in every flash a message waiting to be told.